I'm super stoked about this guest. He was one of my very first connections on LinkedIn. And really the only reason I connected with him is because, I didn't know anything about digital marketing or really much about social media, but he works for Ducks Unlimited, and I like to hunt. I like to duck hunt. So that's kind of what drew me to him. And then he kept me around just by all the funny videos. Mainly it was Jax, though. Jax kind of kept me around more than anything. So I'm going to go ahead and bring out Anthony. Hey, man.
Hey, Chris. I've got to correct you right off the bat. It's not Jax. It's Jinx.
Jinx. Oh, my God. You're right. It is Jinx.
If he heard that, he may not make an appearance tonight. So just
he'd be offended, huh?
Yeah, he does take that very personally.
Yeah, I hear you. I would too, man. Jinx. I don't know why I always want to say Jax. I know it's Jinx. He's almost as famous as you are. Probably more so.
He's way more famous. I have reached no fame yet, but Jinx has a certain level of fame.
Right. I think my favorite video you did of his was the Steve Harvey voiced over about being lazy and getting like that was freaking awesome, dude.
I had fun with that one for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
tell us on TikTok today.
Yeah, I bet. So tell us a little bit how you got started at Ducks Unlimited. You've been there for a while, right?
Almost 19 years. Yeah, wow. Pretty much my entire career to this point has been at Ducks Unlimited. I graduated from Ole Miss back in 2001 and went to work for International Paper, doing web development work with a web design team there. Great company, great job, but it was just a job. There was no higher purpose or calling or anything. Right. And one day my wife told me that her boss had heard that Ducks Unlimited was hiring. At the time, it was a webmaster position. It was a one-person gig under the communications program, and I applied, got lucky, got the job, and been there ever since. So it's been great. Yeah,
that's kind of a hell of a thing just to luck into, man. Like one of the biggest nonprofits in the country, and you just kind of worked your way up from there. So tell us a little bit about your journey with Ducks Unlimited and how the different positions you've held and what you do now.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So at the time it was in 2002 when I got the job, my job was basically managing content for the website, doing some custom programming work, that type of thing. Digital marketing wasn't a thing back then. Right. I mean, companies understood that websites were important. They weren't quite sure exactly the role they were going to play in business. Online fundraising wasn't really much of a thing at that point. Mm-hmm. But as the years went on, and really starting kind of in 2004, 5, 6, as social media comes along, the dawn of smartphones, mm-hmm. Mobile apps, social media, all that, it gave us an opportunity, gave me an opportunity to build a team from the ground up, mm-hmm. which has been by far the accomplishment that I'm most proud of. Yeah. After 19 years, is being able to build a team from scratch. I work with the best folks in the business, and would not be successful without each and every one of them. So yeah, it's been a fun ride for sure.
Yeah, I bet. So what were you hunting? I guess I'm sure you probably grew up hunting. Were you duck hunting and stuff before you got into Ducks Unlimited?
Oh, absolutely. That was the draw. That was a dream job, and it still is. But, that's why I left what was a really good job at International Paper, because I had a passion for hunting. Mm-hmm. I understood kind of at a basic level what conservation was about, but I didn't understand exactly the work that Ducks Unlimited did and mm-hmm. just how important that role plays so that people can hunt. Mm-hmm. So we do enjoy that. But I grew up starting probably age 5, going hunting, fishing with my dad, deer, duck, turkey, dove, you name it. And that's still one of my biggest passions to this day, and trying to get my kids engaged with it, get them off electronics whenever I can. And the duck blind and deer stand gives us a chance to do that.
Yeah. So what is it like trying to get them off of electronics while you're steadily filming videos for TikTok and LinkedIn and everything else?
I'm not setting a very good example with that. Admittedly, I could do better there. Yeah. So what I've learned is when I first started taking them, I thought, okay, no electronics in the duck blind or deer stand. I didn't have them when I was growing up. We're
Right.
here to focus on the hunt and
Yeah.
experience the outdoors. But what I kind of came to learn is it was almost like punishing them by not allowing them to take the phones into the
Yeah.
blind or the stand. It almost felt like punishment. And you don't want to do anything that's going to discourage them from, wanting to go hunting with dad. So
Right.
they bring them along. And now that I've been on LinkedIn and TikTok, we've had a lot of fun when there's no deer or there's no ducks, which is more often than not.
I feel you on that, man.
We have something to entertain ourselves.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
They have a lot of fun with that.
And I think, we talk about unplugging all the time and, none of that stuff being allowed in the deer stand or whatever. But I think, especially as kids, it's a great way to have fun if there's nothing going on.
Yeah.
Because they know dad's going to make a goofy video for TikTok and they're going to be involved. And you know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And being able to just get away. We've got a small cabin in the woods where we deer hunt, and big lake up there where we can fish, and it's just a great place to get away and have fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us about your LinkedIn journey. How long you've been on LinkedIn, how you've seen it evolve and grow, and then because you've got, almost influencer status, dude, like a bunch of followers. I know you don't push the influence, and I don't mean that I hate that term. I don't mean that as a derogatory term, but you don't push the whole look at me lavish lifestyle thing, but you've got a lot of people following you. So what is it that made you really start ramping up your game on LinkedIn and want to get into the coaching? Like, what worked for you that saw the growth that you wanted to bring that to other people?
Yeah. So when I started on LinkedIn, I'll back up. I started on LinkedIn back in 2007 when I first created a profile. I went in, I uploaded a profile picture, a short bio, and I connected with like a dozen people that I personally knew or worked with. And that was it. I never came back to engage with the news feed. I don't think there even was a news feed at the time.
Right.
And never posted any content. But then back in, I guess it was 2016, when Microsoft acquired LinkedIn, I started reading a lot of articles about how, the site was changing. It was no longer just a place to find talent or find a job, that people were using it to build personal brands. Right. And that was probably the first time I'd ever heard of a personal brand. And so that kind of intrigued me. I didn't set out to build a brand per se. I set out just to have fun, just to post and see what happens. I was really active on Facebook at the time, and I thought, well, I'll just start posting some of the content that I post on Facebook on LinkedIn. And like so many people, when you start out, I would be lucky on a good day to get 2 or 3 likes, a comment. That was a big deal.
Right.
And for probably 6 to 12 months, that's kind of how it was. But I was doing it wrong. I was not doing it consistently. I was very sporadic, very random. I didn't really have a strategy of any kind. And I guess as time went by, I started to notice a handful of people who were doing it right, a handful of people that were clearly building their brand. And what I noticed was 2 things. One, they were sharing information about themselves, like showing their personality through their content. They weren't posting, job opportunities or corporate release. They were talking about themselves. And what I later learned was, it's this whole idea of people connect with people. And that's, people can say, well, LinkedIn's not Facebook. Yeah, that's true. But it's okay to show your personality on LinkedIn. Man. That's the foundation of where you start to build your brand and where you start building a content strategy.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what, honestly, on LinkedIn, you probably don't have any way to really build your business, what you do, other than posting like Ducks Unlimited stuff. But as far as working for DU and being the digital marketing director, there's not much of a chance that you're going to get inbound leads or stuff like that. You know, the stuff you hear people talking about, but there is a chance people are going to know who you are and you can leverage that some other way.
Right. Right. And I've basically tried to do that in two different ways. One, you know, a lot of companies have brand ambassador programs. You know, they encourage their employees to be active on social media. You know, I think a lot of organizations don't do that out of fear of, you know, what their people may say or whatever. But yeah, you know, we have a set of guidelines in the organization. They fit on one page, and you know, kind of sets the boundaries of what you should be doing and how you should represent yourself, and the fact that it represents the organization.
Right.
But it doesn't stifle creativity, and I think that's something a lot of companies struggle with. But I like to think that the content that I've posted over the years, the network that I've been able to build, has at least exposed people to the DUCS Unlimited brand.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, people aren't donating or joining left and right because I'm posting. It's just putting the brand out there and putting a face to that sometimes. And then over time, over the last year in particular, I've tried to leverage my network and leverage LinkedIn to kind of build a little bit of a side business and do some LinkedIn coaching. I've learned a lot of lessons over the last couple of years. I've failed at a lot of different things over the last couple of years. So I've got some things to share there, and that's kind of where I got into the consulting side.
So tell us a little bit more about that. So what all do you offer? How do you do it? All that kind of good stuff.
Yeah. So right now it's primarily one-on-one coaching session. I've got a couple of different packages on my website. You know, starting out that you know, just basic profile reviews, and then working up to, you know, helping people come up with a content strategy, helping people figure out, you know, best practices and that sort of thing. Evaluating content that people are writing and getting opinions on that before it posts, reviewing content, you know, over the last month to see, you know, what could have been changed or improved, that type of work. And then also training with companies, with schools, you know, larger group type of sessions. That's the other thing I'm primarily engaged in right now.
Okay. So I didn't know you were doing that. That's pretty cool. So when you say schools, are you going into like high schools or is it colleges?
No, just a couple of schools that I've worked with. I'm not marketing to any of those.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
And I guess you're just teaching them the importance of it and how it's really not what, you know, because still a lot of people have the idea that LinkedIn is resumes and job postings and stuff like that. Like that's what I thought it was when I got on here in January. You know, I thought I'd get on here and I'd make some work-related posts about, you know, us coming to recycle electronics for your company or your school or whatever, and that business would just like fly in because of that. And I realized real quick that was not going to work at all.
Right.
Because, you know, I don't like reading work-related stuff all the time. So if I don't like it, why would anybody else like it?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's that mindset that's one of the hardest things to overcome in the beginning, because again, people think there's a certain type of content that's only appropriate for LinkedIn. But once you can get past that, and what I like to tell people, once you put in the reps, I mean, it's just like anything else. I use the analogy, you know, my youngest son loves to play baseball. He wants to be a star. He wants to be in the pros one day. And we've told him, you know, you can't do that through just watching TV alone. You've got to put in the reps. You got to put in the practice. And that sounds like really basic parenting advice, but the same is true with social media. If you want to get good at anything, you can't just come by and look at the news feed. You've got to engage. You've got to put in the reps. You've got to come up with the content, learn what works, what doesn't work. And it differs from person to person. It differs, you know, company to company, depending on you know, what your industry is. But what I've also learned is everyone has a personal brand, right? Everyone who is online in any capacity everyone who is in the, a working professional, you have a brand. Some people just choose to take control and manage their brand, and they do that by putting themselves out there, by employing content marketing strategies, and that's what works. And if you keep that up consistently, that's the other big key that so many people get frustrated with. Like I mentioned earlier, when I started out, I got just a handful of engagement, and it was really, tempting just to walk away. But I kept at it, and if you are consistent, you're going to learn lessons. You're going to learn what works with your followers and what doesn't, and you adapt. But that's where, personal brand building that's what it's all about.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one thing that kind of sets you apart in the way you do it is there's a lot of personal brand coaches or whatever on LinkedIn, but a lot of them only post about building your personal brand without building their personal brand, if that makes sense.
Yep.
If you don't know anything else about them other than their personal brand coach.
Yep.
And you kind of walk that line or have that balance of, you see Anthony at home or in the deer stand or the duck blind, but then you also see Anthony giving LinkedIn tips or talking strategy or whatever. So you actually show that brand more than other coaches, I would say.
Well, thanks for saying that. Yeah, there's a lot of great personal branding coaches.
Yeah, there is.
Now, but 9 times out of 10, the content that I post about me, about something funny that I saw or observed, or like say just a goofy video from the deer stand, that content stands out on LinkedIn. It's not hard to stand out on LinkedIn because again, most people are doing the same boring stuff all the time. But when I share information or share posts that show my personality, that show my family, the behind the scenes, that's the type of content that people engage with. Again, I've said this once and I'll probably say it 2 more times before this is over, but people connect with people, and it all starts there. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, man, I had a question, dude, and it left me.
Happens all the time.
All the time.
Especially once I hit 40, man, that was blind.
Oh my gosh.
That happens daily.
I'll be 41 in September, and I'm just like, it drives my wife nuts. Yeah, that's Holly Campolongo. I hope I said her name right.
Hey, Holly.
Oh.
So Chris, you get to destroy stuff for a living.
I do.
Tell us about that.
I don't really get to. That was my job is actually on the inside sales, so it's our department's job to get the equipment in. So it's a sales job. It's inside sales. We're calling schools and banks and hospitals and insurance companies and people that would have large amounts of IT equipment. We go pick it up. We bring it back here. We make sure all the data is destroyed. We refurbish it and we resell it. But part of that is, especially like with banks and hospitals and insurance agencies, they are really, really anal about their data. So rather than just wipe it, they want the drives physically destroyed. So we'll shred the hard drives. I don't actually get to go out there and play in the warehouse and do that very much.
I saw a couple of videos you posted.
Yeah. And I spent some time in the warehouse when I first came to the company. So I used to. So I just did a walkthrough one day, me and another girl I work with, and just kind of went to some of the different stations and just kind of showed the process of it. I don't miss it. I don't miss being in the warehouse. It is fun to shred stuff. That sound is just satisfying as hell, man.
I've had a number of computers over the years that I would have taken great joy in shredding if I had the equipment or opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's a pretty cool business.
So it's cool. You have to, like, instead of just sending the equipment to you to destroy, you take that first step of wiping it, then destroy it. Why is that needed? Why can't you just bash it with a hammer and it be done with?
So we only destroy the hard drives if the customer requests it, and we don't wipe them before we do that. If they don't request it, we wipe the hard drives, and we're going to reuse that hard drive and put it in a computer that we've refurbished. It's just that some companies are a little more anal about their data, so they want the stuff destroyed. We don't really want, like, for us, it's not really advantageous to, because it's a hard drive we don't get to use in something else. So that's a hard drive we have to go buy, if that makes sense.
So y'all turn around and refurbish and sell after they're wiped.
Yep.
Okay.
Sure do. Hey, Danielle. Danielle showed up.
Hey, Danielle.
We got more people on Twitch than we do on LinkedIn.
I can't see any stats. All I can see
you can't see the comments. You should be able
I see nothing.
You should be able
maybe I need
to the right, and the top right, there's a little comments deal where you should be able to see them.
Oh yeah. Thank you.
I don't think you can comment directly from StreamYard though.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very new at the whole live thing. We were talking earlier. I've done one official LinkedIn Live, which was absolutely one of the most awkward things I've ever done, because I did not take your advice. I think it was your advice that said, don't ever go live alone. And I went live alone, and I ended up bringing the dog in and propping him up right here just to kill time and to make things a little less awkward.
Yeah, man. Like, I see people go live all the time by themselves, and I can't do it. Like, I couldn't do it. I'd run out of something. 2 minutes, I'd be done.
Yeah.
Like, I've never done it, and the thought of it gives me all kinds of anxiety.
Yeah, well, I'll probably never do that again. Lesson learned there. Yeah. And when I went live saying, hey, come online, ask me questions about it. And it was just kind of like crickets. So
yeah,
it was a short broadcast. Put it like that.
So Travis Lochner, are you connected to Travis?
I don't recognize the name.
Okay. You ought to connect with him. He does a lot of remote live stream producing, and he does a weekly show called Live Stream Legends. He's actually sponsored by Restream. The show is sponsored by Restream. And he has a whole course you can take, but he does a weekly show on Thursdays at 1, I think, that drops all kinds of tips, how to do it alone, how to do it with a guest.
What was the last name? Travis
Lochner, Lachner.
Internet just cut out there when you said his last name.
Lachner.
Got it. No, we are not connected, but I am following him now.
Yeah, he does some awesome tips. Yeah, Travis is amazing. He does a lot of virtual events where I didn't even know this kind of stuff existed, but it's really cool stuff. And he doesn't give away a whole lot, because obviously he has a course and he doesn't want to give it all away for free, but he gives out a lot of good tips. Just, everything from an inexpensive setup where you can get started with a mic and a camera and a light for less than $100 to tips for, using banners and sharing your screen and having stuff set up beforehand. Like if you wanted to do a webinar or something like that was just all kinds of cool stuff.
That's great. And as I'm looking at comments, it seems like I'm the only person on LinkedIn that does not know this guy. So I'm glad you told me that. Yeah.
Yeah. He does
out.
remote. I don't know what he charges, but he does remote producing too. He does it for some of the big names like Shay Rowbottom and Jonathan Palmar and some of those. But then he's just got a whole community of people that he hangs out with online and does live streams, and he's really a pretty cool dude.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Something you just mentioned about him, although I haven't seen his stuff, but you said he gives away so many tips.
Yes.
And that's like right there is the heart of building a brand and in content marketing. It's putting that information out there so that you can establish yourself as a thought leader, as a go-to person for that particular service. And I've seen, people over and over do that. And you think it's counterproductive in that, if you're giving away all the tips, then what are people going to be willing to pay for?
Right.
But the opposite is true. The more you give, the more you get on LinkedIn. And that is absolutely 100% true.
Yep. And he's built a whole ass community of, I'm not on Discord, but he's got a Discord community that is just crazy supportive of him, but he supports them too. And it's like all kinds of content creators and live streamers. And I hadn't gotten on it yet because LinkedIn is enough of a time suck for me. I don't need anything else to, pull time away. But yeah, I think you're right. It's so many people get hung up on charging for it. And, you have to be careful. I think there's a line you can walk where you're not giving away everything, but you can't be so close-lipped that you don't give away anything.
Exactly.
Because people recognize it. Like with you, people recognize you give away a lot of good tips. They'd be more likely to use you than somebody that won't talk to you at all without shelling out some money.
Right. And I learned that firsthand over the years working at 𝙒𝙤𝙑𝙀𝙀. So we are a nonprofit wetland waterfowl conservation organization. We move dirt. We conserve habitat across North America. We don't duck hunt. That's not our mission. Right. But we know that 90% of our supporter base traditionally are duck hunters. So for years, both through our magazine, through our digital channels, our strategy has been give duck hunters as many resources as you possibly can, helping to establish the organization as that go-to resource for duck hunters online. And we've built applications. We have thousands of articles online. We've built a mobile app. All of these things to engage duck hunters who have never been exposed to Ducks Unlimited before, and then others who have been through our event system and they're familiar with us. And then it's just that continued engagement by giving that value away.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Well, if you didn't, you wouldn't have a support base.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, what would be if you didn't do that, how would you get people to support you? Because they know there's this arbitrary organization out there doing conservation, or is it because of all the resources and information?
Right.
Yeah. So tell us how you came up with the hashtag #LIappropriate.
Yeah, the #LIappropriate hashtag. A couple of years ago, this is when I had kind of gotten a little bit of consistency, and I was seeing that some of the personal content was resonating the best. And I had someone come on who just absolutely chastised me, a troll, saying this is not appropriate for LinkedIn, and it was a completely appropriate post. But I decided after that I would start branding my post with the #LIappropriate hashtag. And for a while, I'd write the post and then I would justify why the post was LinkedIn appropriate, kind of sarcastically. And that kind of caught on with a lot of people. And after that, I started using a lot of hashtags. Hashtag to add a little bit of humor to continue the story of the post.
Yes.
That seemed to be it caught on pretty well. But unfortunately, what I've seen over the last year and a half, LinkedIn doesn't like when you use 50 crazy hashtags in a post. They want people to use hashtags the way hashtags were meant to be used, which is categorizing your content. So I've backed off of that a little bit, but that's kind of the history of #LIappropriate.
Yeah, I think it's and then Amy kind of backdoored off of that a little bit with appropriate AF.
She's got the best one out there right now.
And it's I
hate that I didn't come up with that one.
Yeah, that one is unfreaking believable, man. She was one of my first connections too. This is the only social media platform I'm on or have ever been on. I'm late to the game. But I got on it and somehow she showed up in my feed and I saw that hashtag. I was like, that is freaking hilarious.
Yep. She puts out great content for sure.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's so dang witty and sharp with it. Like she'll cut you and you don't even know it.
Exactly. I hope she's still on here to hear that.
She might be. So tell us how you do one-on-one stuff. You do that, I guess, with Zoom, over Zoom.
Yeah, everything, but mostly is over Zoom. Yeah.
Over Zoom. And you take a look at profile. So how can people get in touch with you? DM. You have a website, right? With a blog, johnanthonyjones.com.
That's it. Either way.
Okay.
Both
Let me
work.
put that in the comments. www.
You know, you said that you're only active on LinkedIn right now. You've got to get on TikTok. You've got to get on
What
TikTok.
everybody keeps saying, man, but my wife, when she gets on TikTok, is like lost. Like she might as well not even be home.
It is an absolute rabbit hole that once you start going down it, you're sucked in. But that's, I mean, they've cracked the code on how to keep people engaged on that platform. And if you think about it, it's different from every other social media network in that, you know, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, the content that you see is content you subscribe to, people that you follow. That's pretty much all you're going to see. Those choices dictate what content you see. But on TikTok, it's every person who puts a video out there has a chance to end up on the For You page. And if you think about, if you are on TikTok, almost every TikTok that you swipe up and watch is a good one, right? So they're figuring out the best of the best TikToks out there. They're figuring out, looking at so many signals from individuals as in terms of what videos they watch, they like, they share, looking at all these signals, and they deliver a custom experience for every single person out there. And it allows a lot of people who are just getting started on social media, if you've got a good idea, if you've got a cool video, they're going to throw it out there for the world to see. And if it starts to get traction, they're going to show it to people. And people are going viral on TikTok who would have never had a chance to go viral otherwise.
Yeah.
And I've had a couple of videos. I got lucky with a couple of videos, and that's exactly what happened. It was just something that they put out there. It resonated with people, and it just shot up. But
so how does it work if you go viral on TikTok? Does the algorithm on TikTok automatically push more of your content because you went viral, or is it just the video? The video has to build traction.
It's the video.
Okay.
It's from what I can tell, it's the video. And what I've also seen, and I've watched a couple of online videos from some of the experts, and their advice is to be very, very niche specific with your account. So like the first video that I had that went viral, it was like a 40-second video of my youngest son playing baseball, and it showed his batting progression over the last 4 years. And that went viral. It got like 2.7 million views. It blew my mind away. And what I noticed was, in a matter of a few days, I had 10 or 15,000 new followers, but almost every one of those followers were either kids who played baseball or parents who had kids who played competitive baseball. It was showing that content to people that they knew, that TikTok knew would be interested in. And since then, every time I post a baseball video, it gets 10 times the traction of anything else, because that's where I got that base from. Not that I set out, that's not really like my target market, baseball players and kids who play baseball, right? But the people that are really successful on TikTok, they have one topic, one niche that they stick with. They put out content consistently. And so on my personal account, I'm still kind of all over the place. I'll post just whatever I want, baseball included. But then I started another TikTok. It's LinkedIn marketing tips. I think that's the handle. And on that one, I'm trying to be very specific, niche specific, and I only share tips, tactics, information about LinkedIn marketing.
Have you been getting much traction on that? Like, what kind of market is there? Is there a big market for that on TikTok?
So, most of the people on TikTok are not, they could give two flying, what about LinkedIn? Like, I totally get that.
Yeah.
But what I noticed was when I started doing some research, there aren't many personal branding coaches or LinkedIn coaches who are on that platform right now. So I decided to try to,
Right.
to jump on that. It's generated absolutely zero business so far. It may or may not ever. But what I've done is I've tried to repurpose content that I posted on LinkedIn before, instead of coming up with brand new ideas. I don't have time. I don't have time for that. And then just kind of creating videos from that. And nothing's gone viral on there yet. Hopefully one day, but yeah, it's an experiment for sure.
Yeah. Consistency is key, man.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. I appreciate you coming. Do you have anything else you wanted to share?
So looking forward to hunting season.
Yeah, I am looking. Oh yeah, let's talk about hunting. Let's talk about the game duck hunt real quick. So how big a part did that play in your childhood?
Oh, that was one of the best parts of childhood, was the first Nintendo, man. And the duck hunt game, I cannot tell you how many guns I probably ruined triggers on from playing that. And I'll tell you, we one of the guys on my team brought in an old Nintendo with the duck hunting game about 2 years ago. And we tried to hook it up to the TV that we had. It was it won't even work on a flat screen. We had to get the old, big fat tube TV.
Yeah.
But we have that in our team area. And we made a Facebook post one day. I forgot exactly how it was phrased, but we put that on Facebook, and it is in the history of Ducks Unlimited social media program, that is the single most viral video that we've ever put out.
Really?
Just a couple people shooting the gun at those ducks. and I think what it was is it was relatable to so many people.
Oh yeah.
Remember, they grew up with that game and they haven't seen that in forever. And it was like, yeah, I love this. I got to share it. It was crazy how popular that was.
Man, I love it. I want to holler at Travis real quick. He just came on. Travis, you missed it, man. Your ears must have been burning like crazy, because we were just talking about you and Live Stream Legends and how you've built your community and on Discord, and you have your course, but you also throw tips out there for people too. So we were shouting you out pretty good a few minutes ago.
Yeah, Travis, I just sent you a follow, or just followed you. I'm looking forward to seeing all that you have to offer. Chris has hyped you up pretty good, so I'm anxious to learn from you.
Yeah. So back to duck hunt.
Yeah. So
you could justify buying duck hunt as a business investment. Man, so look, I am not a gamer. I'm not a very coordinated guy. So trying to play the games now really throw me off. But I will tear up some Mario Brothers and duck hunt. That is my jam.
Yeah.
And
I get queasy sometimes watching my kids play, Fortnite or something. Like literally, they say, watch this, and I'm like, enough. I'm going to get sick.
Man,
I'm not built for this.
I can't do it, dude. It throws me off. But I love that. A few years back at Target, they had an old school Nintendo system that would hook into your TV that had 50 preloaded games on it. And it was only this big. It wasn't even as big as the old one.
Right.
And every once in a while, I'll drag it out and play some Mario just for the hell of it.
Yeah, you can't beat the old school classics.
No, you can't do it.
Yeah, but yeah, I am greatly looking forward to hunting season this year. Last year was a huge bust from a duck hunting standpoint for me, for a lot of people down here in the South. But yeah, looking forward to that. Looking forward to getting back in the deer stand and just getting rid of this deadgum heat.
Oh my God, dude.
I'm over it, as my kids like to say.
Yeah, I'm ready too, man. We did a little bit of work on a hunt on our family land out there where I live, and we did a little bit of work on it this year. Cleared out some spots where we, made some openings in the woods. We had a guy come in with one of those. He's got a little skid steer with one of those mulching wheels on the front, and he just came through there and just cleared out some stuff where we'd have some more openings and to plant food plots and stuff like that. So I'm really hopeful that, because it's been a dry few years, man. I hadn't killed one in a while.
I can totally relate. Are you more of a duck hunter or deer hunter?
So I'm a deer hunter right now. Being a felon, it's kind of hard to get away with hunting with a gun because the game wardens like to stop duck hunters. And
Oh,
so
yeah,
I
yeah.
tend to stay away from anything that has to do with a gun right now. But yeah, I'm a deer hunter. I hunt with a crossbow. And I haven't, like I said, I hadn't killed one in years. We've got them out there. I've got some pictures of some good ones, but them jokers move at night. They're nocturnal as hell, man. So, back in the day when I was a teenager, that wouldn't have stopped me too much, but I kind of try to do things right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I love the fall, the bow season. That's my favorite time of year. The deer are a little less spooky.
Mm-hmm.
Although, as I learned last year, since my son is playing competitive baseball is not just a spring, summer thing. It's a fall thing too. And the peak of fall season overlaps with bow season. So I don't have high hopes for that this year.
Yeah.
But we'll go to the games. Not going to miss those.
It's hard, man. I say every year I may not bow hunt during bow season next year, but it just because it's hot, and I hate sitting up there in the deer stand when it's 90 degrees. Because down here in Texas, I don't know what it's like in Mississippi. I'm sure it's kind of close to the same, but it'd be 85, 90 degrees with mosquitoes during bow season.
No. I like the latter part of bow season, like October time frame, October, early November. That's when you got the cool breezes. And the heat finally moved out, and that's my favorite part of the year. Yeah,
me too. But I can't hardly not pass up going to the woods if the season's open. So every year I say, man, I'm not doing this crap again. And then every year come October 1st or first weekend in October, my ass is out there sweating.
Yeah. Hunters have to have short memories when it comes to past seasons sometimes. Yeah,
absolutely. And I was thinking the other day, I was trying to remember what post it was that I saw of yours that made me want to connect. Because I remembered what it was with Amy's. And it was the one you had posted something about go check on your deer hunters because they're not doing good right now. Because deer season was over, duck season was over. It was still too cold to fish or something, whatever.
Yeah.
Go check.
So that was the first one that you saw.
Yeah, it was funny. The first one I saw, and I was like, I need this dude. I need to see more of that kind of stuff.
So you connected with me from a post that was not business related. It was just something personal, I guess you'd say. Yeah,
personal, exactly. Something we both had in common.
Yep.
And that just goes to show the power of personal branding is that's how people connect with people. You know what I mean?
Bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yep. Well, if nobody in the audience has any questions, let me find my comment again and put it up here. JohnAnthonyJones.com. You can go there. You can connect with him on LinkedIn, send him a DM, and he can give you some one-on-one coaching, some profile tips, content strategy, all that good stuff.
All that jazz.
All that jazz, man.
Yeah. Well, Chris, thanks for having me on. This has been fun.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
You do a really great job of these every week. I look forward to tuning in, and I know you mentioned you may be changing the time up a little bit, but
I'm
certainly look forward to it.
Yep. I'm glad I did not have to play that.
Oh man, the whole backstory behind that.
I know it.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I know it. Like it's been played one too many times, I think. I had it queued up and ready though, man.
I'm glad I showed.
Yeah, right. Well, Anthony, I appreciate you coming on, man. I really do. Like I said, I've been looking forward to this one for a while, and just to chat with you a little bit, get to know you a little better, and then also, let people know about personal branding and how you can help them.
Absolutely, Chris. I've enjoyed it. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Y'all have a good one.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.